Hi everybody, this is Dino Chris from Prehistoric Facts, and let's actually get on to some of these questions. Rainey from Embarrass, Wisconsin actually is asking me what do I think about Nanuqsaurus, Hoglundi, and what I think of it is that since Nanuqsaurus is actually this new Tyrannosaur that has actually been discovered in Alaska. Now, it's a smaller Tyrannosaur. It's actually probably medium-sized, considering of the size comparisons to other Tyrannosaurs. But also, it's actually living in a place where it was very harsh environment. So it was a very harsh environment during that time. So it was colder, and also the prey species would actually be smaller. So considering with its size, it would actually be hunting smaller prey. And it is kind of similar to Tyrannosaurus Rex. I mean, if you actually probably took a good close look at it, you would actually think you were actually looking at like a baby Tyrannosaurus Rex. But from my understanding, because since this is a new dinosaur, they're not knowing about the length yet, because since the only parts of the skeleton are actually found are partial skull bones and I think it's some vertebrae and all that kind of stuff. So it's not really well known of like how long this dinosaur could be, because since it might be a smaller sized Tyrannosaur, when I actually looked at the size comparisons to probably like say like to the other Tyrannosaurs like Tyrannosaurus Rex, Albertosaurus, Daspletosaurus, it's smaller than Daspletosaurus and a tad bit smaller than Gorgosaurus, so probably like pretty close to 20 feet long. So it'll probably be pretty close to 20 feet long, and excuse me, and it'll probably weigh like at a ton. So it probably weighed like a ton. So 1 ton basically. So probably wouldn't it? So it probably would be be much faster. So it'd probably be faster than the other Tyrannosaurs. But I would say for the prey size, considering that it have to hunt smaller prey, it will probably hunt like the smaller duck-billed dinosaurs and probably the baby ceratopsians. But that's all I can say about Nanuqsaurus. But Nanuqsaurus is a very interesting find, so it might actually determine like how Tyrannosaurs actually how Tyrannosaurs would actually survive during this kind of they're in the Arctic environment around probably between probably around the range of probably like 75 to 66 million years ago. So it'd probably be around that kind of range. So I don't know that much about this dinosaur, but I do know that it's a pretty cool find for in terms of me being a Tyrannosaur type of guy. So I love Tyrannosaurs. Tyrannosaurs are always my favorite types of dinosaurs, so that's why I think it's a pretty cool find. And this next question is Taylor from Maplewood, Minnesota. He asks, is Megalodon still alive, and how big was it? Well, the question of whether Megalodon is still alive, my opinion is this. I think it is still possible to find something as large as a Megalodon in the oceans, but it's gonna be so rare, and also it's gonna have not that much. You're not gonna have that many chances of finding something really big as deep as the abyss. I mean, we will never know, like, if Megalodon is still out there, but I would say that it's to most of the scientific community most of the scientific community would say that it is extinct, so it would not be around. And since that the past summer they actually did a Discovery Channel show on Shark Week about Megalodon, whether it's alive today. But my opinion is this: it does not exist today, because you see, I think Discovery Channel made it a little overboard for people to actually believe that Megalodon is out there. And since that most of the sightings of seeing a large shark, predatory shark, being around today, it it might be just confused, might be mistaken identity, because sometimes when we actually look at things further from a distance, probably like say 20 feet away from us, we would actually think that we think that the animal in front of us in the water is probably at the size of probably like say 60 feet long, because you see we overjudge length and also size. So pretty much like anything that we can actually mistakenly see, I mean, we just tend to overestimate the size of some certain animals. And also, we would actually see a lot of whale species actually probably diminishing. We would see a lot of whale species diminishing, basically because they're getting eaten by Megalodon, and Megalodon would pretty much just almost wipe out the entire food source. Its entire food source within its distance, and also it would just outcompete other sharks that are in the oceans. And since that Megalodon fossils were actually found within 4 million years to 15 million years, so it would actually indicate that it is actually extinct. But in terms of its size, when Megalodon was around during its time, we actually do have a pretty standard estimate of how big Megalodon could be. We actually measure each tooth and actually just estimate at every inch of tooth you count 10 feet of shark. So since I'll show you this Megalodon tooth that I have here, and this is the real deal here, folks. This is the real deal Megalodon tooth. Here it is. Here is a real Megalodon tooth. This is a fossilized Megalodon tooth, and it's hard to see with the lighting in here, but you see there is actual serrations on the edge of this tooth. They're still sharp, so it is pretty outstanding. Of like, you hold something this big in your hands, and you actually think, wow, look, how large could this thing have been to actually carry a tooth this size? But since we actually calculate every inch of tooth of Megalodon teeth that we actually measure, then we actually multiply it by 10. So since this tooth is actually almost 6 inches long, so it would actually be approximately about between 55 to 60 foot Megalodon. So that is pretty standard estimate. Now there have been fossils, other Megalodon fossils with mainly their teeth. There was one tooth that has been speculated has been over 9 inches long. So if there is a Megalodon tooth out there that is 9 inches long, that means it's a 90-foot Megalodon. I mean, can you believe the size of that thing? That's the size of a 90-foot Megalodon. It would just basically, you could just have that thing almost right into probably like about 10, almost like 1,000 feet of water, and then you would actually still see this animal hunting whales, like countlessly. And that is the #1 food source for Megalodon, is whales. Whales were the #1 prey source for Megalodon. And we actually find Megalodon teeth embedded in vertebrae of whale fossils during around 4 to 15 million years ago. And this shark is pretty close to a body frame of like a great white shark. So if you actually just took a modern day great white shark that is probably like 20 feet long, take that shark and actually make the size 4 times as big, and also 20 to 30 times the weight. So imagine that. So that is actually outstanding numbers, and you would actually be horrendously scary if we actually tried to venture out into the oceans if Megalodon was still alive today. We couldn't even venture out in the ocean, because every ship out in the ocean would have bite marks on the bottom of the boat, and pretty much almost every single ship would actually be sunk, because the Megalodon would think that that is prey. It would be like, oh, it'd be thinking it's a giant whale swimming out in the seas. But even though Megalodon is still an awesome sea monster, it's my favorite sea monster of prehistoric times. I think it's just the coolest thing on Earth to actually possibly see. And Megalodon has the most powerful bite force out of any animal living or extinct ever. 50 tons. So 50 tons of bite force. That is amazing. And that is good estimate. So it would actually be a very, very powerful animal. So don't ever mess with something as big as a Megalodon. And also, another question was actually asked to me while I was in spring break. It was about this other new species that was actually discovered by Kathy from Owasso, Wisconsin. And she wants to ask, and she asked me about what about this this thing that is out in the news that is they claim to be the chicken from hell, and which is Anzu walleye. And Anzu is actually like this oviraptorid. It's a relative of Oviraptor, and it's toothless. It's just got a beak. It has a crest on its head. It has very sharp claws on its hands and feet, and it probably would have been covered in feathers. So, and also it's actually found in the Hill Creek Formation. That's the formation of rocks that contains Triceratops, Edmontosaurus, and Tyrannosaurus Rex. Those are the type of rocks that it was actually found, and it was nearly complete. So it's a really rare find. So it's a rare find, and so it'd probably not be as common as probably like Tyrannosaurus Rex, Triceratops, or Edmontosaurus, but it's actually, I think it's a cool find. I think it's a cool find that there's probably more diverse ecosystem during that time of the dinosaurs, pretty much at the end of the dinosaurs, around 67 to 65.6 million years ago. And I think that's just a pretty cool thing that we're actually still finding these species everywhere we go and all around the world. And I mean, that's just amazing stuff. And there's been Anzu fossils were actually found in North Dakota and South Dakota. So pretty much it's starting to possibly actually starting to have some diversity of where it could actually be found. But could we find some in Montana? Probably, because the Hill Creek Formation is actually in Montana and well known in Montana. Probably there could be some that probably hasn't been found yet. But we'll see, and there's more discoveries out there, so hopefully we can find more. Alright, that's it for now. So next week will actually be a special episode, so I'll post a link of which dinosaurs you want me to talk about, and I'll actually talk about that dinosaur. And make sure to follow me on Facebook, which is the Prehistoric Facts with Dino Chris fan page on Facebook, and like it, and you can actually put which dinosaur you want me to talk about on that link that I'll actually post on probably tomorrow afternoon. And also, if you still have questions about dinosaurs or any other prehistoric life, feel free to email me at dinochris71@gmail.com, and also you can actually post your questions on the comments section on any Facebook post I actually put on the Facebook fan page. And if any of you are actually having trouble finding my Facebook fan page, probably just probably search me on my regular Facebook fan page, which is my original name, Christopher Grawl. You can actually find it in my liked pages. So in the liked section for to actually know what I actually liked, and you can actually find it there. And also you can follow me on Twitter at CSGRALL, at CSGRALL. That's my Twitter page, and I post some pretty cool stuff on there, and I also favorite a lot of stuff on there as well, and that kind of stuff. And so make sure to take care of the people around you, and also for you younger people out there, make sure to listen to your parents, your teachers, and your guardians. Those are the best motivation you can have for a good education. It's very important to have a good education. With a good education, you can get a good job in the future. Alright, that's it for now, and I'll see you guys next week.